And a good Wednesday afternoon to you, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Lots to talk about, lots to show here. This is the broad picture, of course, and what you're seeing here is, first of all, this is a tropical storm, HENRI. Tropical Storm HENRI is scheduled and projected to become a Cat 1, Cat 2 hurricane that's going to be off the eastern seaboard. The flow of air will take it off the Carolinas and into slightly colder waters and likely weakening. It looks like it remains east of Cape Cod and not going to be a problem for New England, but this is something we'll have to watch. But this is going to be quite a ways down the road, probably not until Sunday night or Monday. We also have a couple tropical systems, a tropical storm Grace. It's going to spin up into a Category 1 hurricane, crossing through the Yucatan and then into Mexico. And then our tropical system, this is the remnants of Fred. Fred is going to be pushing in and tracking through southern parts of Vermont as a tropical depression. It's making that slow evolution as an extratropical system, but it's going to deliver some moderate to locally heavy rainfall across the southern or southeastern 2/3 of the state of Vermont, and mainly the most of which is going to be affecting especially the southern 4 counties, a little bit into perhaps just north into Addison, potentially into Orange County, and but if you drew a line roughly about Middlebury to about Concord, Vermont, and points south and east, that's where you're going to find the most precipitation. This will arrive later on in the overnight period, early tomorrow, Thursday morning, and continue during the day on Thursday. We'll have the next heads up that'll be issued later today talking about this as well. In terms of thunderstorm activity, it's pretty limited. In fact, even with tropical storm remnants there of Fred, it doesn't look like we'll see widespread impacts from any kind of thunderstorm activity, but just mainly heavy rain. And a flash flood watch was in effect for the southern counties of Vermont. That could shift a little bit further to the north. We'll wait and see. Needless to say, we're looking at a lot of weather. We do also have smoke off to the north and west of us that's taking a trajectory into mostly northern Quebec, leaving us alone here. Our flow of air is really a lot to do with the Bermuda High, and it's been feeding tropical moisture up the Appalachians and into Vermont. We have very high dew point temperatures, as you can see here, and this is going to remain the case going right into basically the early part of next week before we see a moderation in slightly cooler temperatures working in. Maybe some heat indices to talk about as well. That'll happen on Friday into Saturday, and then we cool things off just a little bit as we start to also lose some moisture in terms of dew point temperatures, making a slow moderation to moderate humidity levels as we get into the middle part of next week. This is the ECMWF or European model, and what we're looking here is the 2 o'clock model right now with the tropical storm Fred getting ready to sort of ride this little bit of a tongue of moisture that's working through parts of central Vermont currently right now. We'll watch Fred as it kind of approaches and works into the region, and you can see why it's going to produce some moderate to locally heavy rain. That really arrives during the early morning hours on Thursday, continues during the day on Thursday, and mainly affects the southern or southeastern 2/3 of the state. Northern tier regions remain driest, and that looks like it just limited in the amounts of precipitation. But Fred then makes a nice exit, it looks like on Thursday night, and the leftovers begin to push away and set up the stage really for what could be the most significant dry project weather day on Friday. That dry project weather will last, courtesy of a weak area of higher pressure over the Great Lakes. And then we're looking at more shower and thunderstorm activity, mostly convection. This is going to be developing on Saturday and into Sunday. It does look like most of that is really going to be affecting the southern and western parts of Vermont, less so across the northeastern sections of the state. Now, it looks like the shower and thunderstorm activity will be kind of a daily diet. Here and there, a lot of this stuff hit and miss as we head into the early to mid part of next week beyond the period, as a couple frontal systems kind of encroach and a little bit more pull up of moisture. But the overall trend is that we're going to cool things down as we get into the middle part of next week. And also, dew point temperatures will be falling probably into the 50s by the time we hit around Tuesday or Wednesday. GFS Ensemble, looking at the main effect here, this is going to be the effects of post-tropical storm Fred, and that'll be moving through during the morning hours into the afternoon on Thursday, and then exiting the region. You can see the peak there, and then we're looking at sort of a daily diet of scattered shower and thunderstorm activity continuing. But Fred is the main issue with the total QPF. We're looking at that main rise here, probably greater than 1 inch amounts, and most of this, of course, across the southeastern 2/3 of the state. This is centered on Montpelier right now, and you can see that eventually we'll get into probably greater than 2 inch amounts. The European model is going pretty excessive on some of the rainfall. Let's take a look at the Weather Prediction Center's ideas. This is capturing here Tropical Storm Fred, and you can see that we're talking greater than 2 inch amounts. This is 3.5 inches. And that is going to be tracking through parts of southern Vermont, mostly, again, the southeastern 2/3 of the state, and pretty good agreement. We'll shift over to temperatures now, and what we're looking at is some pretty warm weather locally here, but look at this in Canada. They're setting, again, some pretty hot temperatures across a good section of eastern Canada. It's cooled off in western parts of Canada. Back to the GFS Ensemble trends, you can see that looking at what could be a cooler day during the daytime when Tropical Storm Fred's moisture kind of cools down the temperature just a bit, but we're right back into temperatures achieving basically on Friday and Saturday into the low 80s, and the heat indices could be in the mid to upper 80s those 2 days, and then we cool things down just very gradually. Now looking at temperature dew points, they look like this, and you can see that kind of trend slightly downward. And precipitable water will match that up pretty decently. And while we're at it, we'll look at convective available potential energy. It'll be a little bit just about every day. It looks like once we get into post-Fred, we'll see some of that moisture and better chances for a little bit more instability to pop some shower and thunderstorm activity. Again, most of this is going to be across the southern and central areas as it looks right now. Looking at temperatures right now, the meteorological output statistics, or MOS, the next 5 days of high temperatures weighted, you can see that we're above normal, and notably well above normal as you get at 15 degrees above normal as you head over toward James Bay up in the northern parts of Quebec. About 3 days later, this is what it looks like. Still pretty warm across the eastern seaboard at this point. 2-day graphical tropical weather outlook right now. We got HENRI as of 11 o'clock this morning at Atlantic Standard Time. We're a pretty high-level tropical storm. We have Hurricane Grace is now a hurricane. It's going to be taking a track toward the Yucatan Peninsula. And this is Tropical Depression Fred. The remnants of Fred will work through southern parts of Vermont, unloading a lot of rainfall. And what you're looking at here is the 51-member ensemble of the European model, giving us a pretty good track with this ensemble model. And you can see there's several different waves working in off of Africa. Some of that recurves back to the north. That's good news there. This is Grace, this is HENRI, and this is Tropical Storm Fred working in and taking a track that'll take it across southern parts of Vermont, unloading that heavier rainfall. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.